Aunt Sally, this is for you. It's your moment in the sun. We're here to commemorate you and honor you since you are the matriarch of the family, and I know that I am your favorite. Although, some people think it's Ellen, it's really me.
Oh, Maureen's pretty funny, isn't she?
Oh, Maureen.
We know we're all your favorite, and we love you. We're happy to be here this weekend celebrating the O'Connell family. And unfortunately, I don't know why we didn't go to the Colwell Diner, because we know that's your favorite stopping ground. Some of us may not.
Or Stamina. And Stamina, exactly, Stamina.
Stamina in Bloomfield.
Yeah.
But Sally, you are the matriarch of the family, and we do wish all of our mothers were here, but since they're not, you are representing
You're gonna be our mother.
the O'Connells, and you're the mother to all of us. And I want to be just like you when I grow up, because at your age, and you don't take any medication, I'm pretty jealous.
And you're 88 years old and you just got hearing aids. I'm so impressed. So I hope I get that gene that I don't need a hearing aid, or if I do, it's later in life. And I think you're pretty cool. I think you're in great shape, and I think you do pretty well.
The captain of the family since as long as I can remember. Just always had the brightest smile at the parties and do the best Christmas party that we've had for our family. So thank you for everything you've done, and it's always been awesome to have you around.
Hey, Sally, I love you.
Love you. You're the best. Love you.
Okay. Hi, Aunt Sally. We are so glad to have an opportunity to share with you what you mean to us. And Aunt Sally, you did everything for me as a kid. I'm one of 7 kids, and Aunt Sally, you used to take Richard and I to the beach all the time. We used to go to Long Beach Island with you, and Aunt Sally would come and actually babysit us and take us on outings. And how you ever put up with us, I'll never understand. But we used to have a great time with you. And even as I got older, I remember as a teenager, Aunt Sally, you took us to, she worked at J.P. Morgan Bank, and she took us in, and we met the executives there. She worked for the vice chairman, and she took us to lunch. And all those were very, very great experiences for us. And she was just the best aunt, because she always watched out for my brother Richard and I. Marge, why don't you say something?
Aunt Sally, I love that you are so much a part of our lives as well, and I love having had this opportunity to be a part of the Riley family. We love having you over, and you're always...
And she comes all the time?
Yes, and you're very precious to all of us, so God bless you.
God bless you, Aunt Sally. Thank you for all you've done for us.
Aunt Sally.
Hi, Aunt Sally.
Hey. We just wanted to tell you how much we love you, and we're so happy that we are here at the family reunion with you. Mm-hmm. You're the matriarch of our family. We've learned a lot from you.
Thanks for always bringing our family together.
Always.
And teaching us the true art form of how to go to lunch.
Very true. We love you.
Love you.
Okay. Sally, even though my name tag says Jane, I'm not Jane. You know that. I'm Eileen. And I would like to say thank you, the youngest of the O'Connell sisters, for all that you have done for the Riley family over the years. Many trips to the shore, to New York City. You tolerated us as children in your apartment. I don't know how you did it. We would ride the elevator, ring doorbells, act like idiots and crazy little children, and you never complained. So you've always been a wonderful part of all of our families. I don't know how you keep all the names straight, but you do. You're always interested in everybody, what we're doing, our kids, what they're doing. You're just an amazing woman, and we love you. God bless.
Sally, I want to thank you for being such a wonderful mentor to this Riley family. You've done a great job helping raise these children, and I thank you. Eileen is a wonderful person to live with and to love for the last 46 years. We wish you all the great blessings in the world. Enjoy.
We're happy to have another reunion with you. Hope to have another one soon.
Hi, Aunt Sally. We're happy to be here from your oldest niece. Hope you have a wonderful time at the party. We all have had a great time. Thank you for all you've done for all the families. And I'm sure that Kay, Virginia, Jean, and Irene are smiling down upon you today.
So,
I have been lucky enough to be part of this family for just over 20 years now. And one of the things that was really fabulous was that not long after Judy came up to Boston, we went to Connecticut to visit Aunt Sally. It was the first time I got to meet you. And you immediately just brought me into this family and made me part of it, and you were really welcoming, as have been all of the cousins and the aunts and uncles. So it's really been fabulous to kind of have a whole new family. So thank you.
We love you, Aunt Sally.
Love you.
Sally, Kathy, and Dan here. I personally wanted to thank you for being so gracious and welcoming to me and all the in-laws of the family. And we appreciate everything you do for our family. And we love you, Aunt Sally.
Hi, I'm Dan Riley. And Aunt Sally, I just want to thank you so much for helping my parents. I'm one of 7 children, and we weren't the nicest kids. Man, we were difficult for my mother and dad to keep up with. And you always came in and helped my mom, and also took my brother and sisters to do different things that we normally couldn't have done with our parents, like skiing, bowling, to shows, to ball games, and we really greatly appreciate that. And it made my mother's life a lot more pleasant. And also, it wasn't that you did it for the Rileys, you did it for the Krauses, the Blewitts, the Rivers, and who did I leave out? Anyone?
I think
the
you got it all.
Yeah, I think I got it all.
Lots of children.
And you had a lot of children come into your life, and nieces and nephews, and we appreciate everything that you've done for us. Great to see you again.
Maureen has agreed to let me do all the talking, which I think was a good decision. I have to say this is the best O'Connell reunion I've been to because the kids are older and I don't have to get in the pool. It's great for that reason alone. But here's to Aunt Sally, and here is to Jean O'Connell, who I've looked around, is responsible for 82% of the people who are here today. She is responsible for a huge, just a mass of hydrocarbons on the earth, and it's just so great to be, linked into one of them, even as an in-law. I can't really claim to have any direct connection to any of this magic. But
connection to a couple of the kids that are here.
I thought I was going to do the talking. I'm very happy to be here. I'm already looking forward to the next one, which will probably be at our house, right?
Yes.
Great.
Sure.
Just one last thing, Aunt Sally. Just want to make sure you have a ride home today, because, we are usually the transporter of Aunt
Right.
Sally, and we're happy to do it.
Yeah, I'd like
so
to
just
say-
let me know if
Can
you
I
need
say
a
that,
ride.
there are a lot of
and
people
when's
here?
lunch?
There is a huge, gathering here, but we live closer to Aunt Sally than any of you.
I don't know, Marion's pretty close, but yes.
No, we're
happy to be our Caldwell neighbors.
It's close. Marion's like 2 times as far away as we are.
Anyway,
Aunt Sally.
here's to you, Aunt Sally, the matriarch of the family. And hope I get your genes.
Well, Sally, here we are. We're the oldest ones.
As you reminded us this morning.
We are the oldest ones that get married, the first ones to get married from the whole clan. And here we are still celebrating parties with you. And hopefully we'll be playing a lot more partying with you in the future.
And Aunt Sally, it's been a great few years. We loved all the visits you had with us in Florida and in Michigan, and you got to come back.
We're looking forward to another 10 or 20 years.
I like her spunkiness. I'm impressed. I'm also in awe of her fashion style. She has been a trooper over the years, and we love her, our gal Sal.
And Aunt Sally, I'm just going to say hello and best wishes from the Lone Ranger. On my chair, the arm of my chair, riding Silver and saying, "Hi-oh, Silver! Hoy!" Love you.
Aunt Sally, I have very fond memories of you from when we were little, visiting you with Dan and Tot. You haven't changed one single bit. Love you.
Thanks so much for all the great memories over the year. We are so happy and thankful to be celebrating this Memorial Day weekend with you at the O'Connell Family Reunion. and looking forward to many more fun, exciting adventures with you along the way. We love you.
Hi, Aunt Sally. We love you. We thank you for everything.
Thank you much.
You're the best.
You're the one.
So one of my favorite memories of Aunt Sally is that I went to college in Hartford, Connecticut, and she was living there at the time. And we used to go and have coffee and tea, and she would take me around East Hartford and West Hartford, and we went to the Mark Twain house, and she took me to a couple of Italian bakeries that were her favorites, and we got to have our own sort of, little dates. So, after that, it was just like really nice to be able to get to know her, on her own. And that's my memory.
Hi, Aunt Sally.
Hi, Aunt Sally.
It's a blessing to be a part of your family, and I love the times that we go out to dinner, and hopefully we have more dinners together.
What I like about Aunt Sally, what I've noticed over the years is that all these parties we have, she's always like the last to leave. She never wants it to end.
That's right.
She's got more energy.
She's a party girl.
Yeah, she's the one. And we always share the same birthday time every year. And I hope you have many, many more of those.
We love you, Aunt Sally.
Love you. Bye.
Hi, Sally. I just wanted to say a couple things to you. First of all, I don't remember life without you. You've always been there, and you've been a great role model. Really sort of one of the first women's libbers that I ever knew, because you always worked in the city and you were just the cool aunt, let's say. More recently, I just think that I would think of you as being somebody very supportive and helpful to me. When my mom died, when Mike died, and I just love you. I love you for the great conversationalist that you are, the great, just sort of an interesting person that has a lot to say and a lot to share when we talk. I love you. I'm so glad you're part of our family. And
so, Aunt Sally. What do I think of when I think of Aunt Sally? I think of matriarch for sure. She is she's the queen of the O'Connells, and I'm sure her sisters are smiling down from heaven upon her, thinking how great of a job she's doing. Carrying on the O'Connell spirit. She's just been a rock for the family. She's at every event, whether it's the O'Connells, the Rileys or the Blewitts. Probably not so much the Krauses, just because of the or the Rivers, but for sure. On the Blewett and the Riley side, she's at nearly every baptism and confirmation and wedding and birthday party and whatever get together we have, and this just showing us what it's like to be an O'Connell. So thank you so much for being our standard bearer and letting us know what it's like to be a true Irish descendant and to carry on the O'Connell name. So thank you so much. We love you. We can't see enough of you. We love having you at our events, and thank you so much for being the great sister and also the great caregiver of our grandparents, Tot and Dan. We watched you as young children taking care of them, and believe me, you left your mark on that. So we love you. We can't say enough about you and how good you are to our family. And thank you so much for being a great aunt to my kids. So, Aunt Sally, you're the best. Love you.
Hi, Aunt Sally.
Hi, Aunt Sally.
Hello, Aunt Sally.
It's us, the Blewitts.
We love you.
And we're wishing you a happy Memorial Day and just a happy day, I guess, in general. We're supposed to make some kind of a greeting for you, so greetings to you, Aunt Sally.
And go try
I don't think it's your birthday, though. It's not your birthday. It's Memorial Day. What?
And go try the key lime pie.
Yeah, and the cookies
it's
are pretty
delicious.
good. And I did have a hot dog.
We love you.
Love you.
We do love you, Aunt Sally.
Always.
Always good to see you.
I remember telling Aunt Sally that I hope the relationship she had with my grandmother Irene, that I hope that my two daughters have the same relationship when they're older, because it's very touching how close they were with one another and how much they did for each other. And unfortunately, I didn't know all of the sisters, but if they had the same relationship as Sally and my grandmother did, they must have been a true family force.
That's a very great thing to say.
Okay.
I don't think I can add too much to that. I very wonderful woman for the time I've been around. So great to be around her, and happy to be part of this reunion. So.
Awesome. Great job, guys.
He's going to edit this.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Aunt Sally, and we're just going to ask Aunt Sally a couple of questions, or several questions about her background, and kind of just talk about the O'Connell family. We're here for the 2017 O'Connell reunion. So Aunt Sally, I'm just going to maybe just ask you about your mom and dad to begin with.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about Tot and Dan?
About Tot and Dan.
Tell me what you first think about when you think about your mom and dad.
Well, they were very good people, devoted to their families and to their faith and church. And life was a lot simpler then.
Okay.
Life was a lot simpler. And maybe better because it was simpler. Yeah. And we weren't wealthy by any means. When I was a child, the Depression was on. Mm-hmm. And my parents probably had lots of worries, but they didn't share it with us. And if we were miserable, we didn't know it.
It seemed like every picture I've ever seen of you and your family, everyone's smiling.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem so happy.
As I say, we weren't miserable. We didn't have a lot, but we got along okay. And most of the people we knew were in the same boat, dealing with the Depression. But we got through it. We never went hungry. And we always had clothes and good times.
And you were born in 1929, is that correct?
Correct.
So Aunt Sally, believe it or not, we can do some math here, is 88 years old.
Uh-huh.
And no one believes it, to be quite honest with you.
You don't think so?
No,
well, Joe,
honestly.
You're my best friend in some ways.
No.
You know, I was born 6 months before the big stock market crash.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about World War II?
Oh, yes.
How you were 16, 17 through, in 41 you were probably like
41, I was 12 years
12?
old. 12 years old.
Yep.
I remember Pearl Harbor Day very well. People were running around saying the Japanese are bombing Honolulu, and I don't think we had ever heard of Pearl Harbor, and everybody was very excited. And I remember the following day listening to President Roosevelt's speech. I remember him saying December 7, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. And they often quote that.
Absolutely.
You've probably heard that quotation.
Absolutely.
I remember the original speech. Yeah.
And
then they declared war, and I was young, you know, I knew it wasn't good, but I didn't realize the enormity of it and the tragedies that would ensue.
How about the next 4 years? I mean, World War II was actually very short relative to the current.
It was 3 years, going on 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was over 3 years.
Did life completely change for you back home, or did you just kind of go through your normal day?
I went to high school, and well, as I say, we didn't have a lot of extra stuff. We didn't go to many places because gasoline was rationed, tires were rationed. We had a car that wasn't in great shape, but we did what we could with it. And then my two oldest sisters, Kay and Virginia, were married to servicemen, and they each had a baby. And I thought that was great to have the babies around. And so, as I say, I didn't realize the enormity of the war and all the tragedies that were occurring in people's lives.
So
But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
people's lives were really upset. You know, so many married couples were separated. They got married and they were separated, and the music was a lot of it was they would sing about, you know, the separations that had to take place in a lot of people's lives.
Sure.
But there was some brighter music too.
Tell me about your sisters. Let's start at the top with
Okay.
Aunt Kay.
Kay.
Tell me about Aunt Kay. When you think of Aunt Kay, what do you think about?
Kay was always very organized. She was a great planner. She would always know the right answer to everything, and she was sort of a take charge person.
She seems a lot like Grandma. When I think
Yes.
of Grandma, I think
Yeah,
of
she probably
they're
was.
very close
Yeah.
in my memory from when I
Yeah.
think about their
Yeah.
personalities and
Right.
Is that true or is that
Well,
how you remember it?
she took a lot after my mother. My mother was a good organizer too, where she would organize things in the family and organize parties. She'd have the relatives come, and yeah, Kay did take after her, right?
Let's
yeah.
go now. Next is Virginia, right?
Virginia. Well, Virginia.
What do you think about when you think about Virginia?
Well, she always loved a good time. She was always laughing, and she had a lot of boyfriends. And then, of course, she met Fred, and they were kind of off and on for a while, I know, before they settled down together. And, yeah, Virginia loved fun. But she was a good practical person, too, you know.
When I think of Aunt Virginia, I think of a very classy lady. She
Yeah.
dressed amazing, and she seemed to carry herself in such a classy way. So, do you think about that as well?
Yes, she was always well dressed. Kay was always very well dressed. And they both took good care of their families.
Absolutely.
I believe that. Yes.
All right, now who's next now? I don't even know if I know. Irene is the next,
came
right?
next.
Okay.
Well, she was the nurse.
Sure.
She trained at Mountainside Hospital for 3 years, and I always thought she had a lot of class, you know, in her uniform and
Sure.
the gray cape and the white cap and everything. And after she graduated from Mountainside Hospital, that was in 1942, and all she wanted was to go in the Navy and be a Navy nurse.
Sure.
And so she applied for the Navy, and she went for her physical, and she was turned down.
Oh, I never heard this story.
They said she had a heart murmur. And she came home in tears, and she cried for 6 hours. She was just brokenhearted because she wanted so badly to go in the Navy. And so she just, I guess she was still very sad. About 2 weeks later, a letter came from the Navy telling her to report for duty on such and such a day.
Oh my gosh.
So whether that letter was a mistake or not, I don't know. She went in the Navy and served with distinction. And,
During World War II, right?
Oh yes, that was during World War II.
Where did she go? I don't know that I know.
Well, she, first place she went was out in Long Island. What was the name of that?
Garden City?
St. Albans. St.
Okay.
Albans. Naval, I think there was a naval base there.
Okay.
And I thought she was just the cat's meow in that uniform and the gold braid and the white cap and everything. Oh, I just thought that was wonderful. And then she was, I know at one point she was out in California, and I thought that was wonderful, you know, to have a sister in California. Because we didn't travel in those days.
Sure.
We couldn't travel. And she wanted to get on a hospital ship. She finally did get on the hospital ship. But at that time, the war was almost over.
Sure.
She didn't serve too long on the hospital ship. Yeah.
That's great. Now, what about Aunt Jean, my mom?
Aunt Jean, your mom. Your mother and I did not get along all that well when we were kids.
And you were the closest in age.
Yes, we were. But we were quite different. And so we didn't do an awful lot of things together.
Okay.
When we got older, we appreciated one another a lot more. But growing up, there was a little tension between us.
That's interesting.
But then I grew to appreciate her, and you know, she did a marvelous thing producing all you kids, 11 of you, and she was a hard worker, and she was always very hospitable to me. Your parents were very hospitable to me, and
She loved you a lot.
well, I loved her back, and they were an important part of my life. Your whole family.
Sure.
Your whole family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all
You
you
know,
kids.
I forgot to ask you.
Yeah.
Let's go to the top again. Let's go
Yeah.
to Uncle Frank Riley.
Uncle Frank Riley.
And Kay's dad.
Yeah.
What do you think of when you think of Uncle?
He was a very quiet person. He didn't really make waves of any kind. You know, just a very quiet, very gentlemanly guy. Didn't talk an awful lot. He read a lot. He was a smart man and well educated and, you know, self-educated. Yeah.
Seems like I always think of him with a smile on his face. Is that how
Yeah.
you remember him, or he's always had a little grin?
Well, that's true.
I was young,
He
but
was,
that's what I remember.
he was always pleasant.
Yep.
He was always pleasant, yes.
What about Uncle Fred?
Uncle Fred was, well, he was different. Let's see, he was unpredictable. He was a jokester. He would kid people more. You remember what he was like.
I do,
yeah,
but you know,
and,
I was young
I'm
when
trying-
he passed, so
You were?
I was
Yeah.
maybe 13 or 14. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he worked hard at his field, and yeah, he was a very generous person, and he was very devoted to his family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very devoted
I
to his
think of
family.
him and
Yeah.
I just think of his stalwartness. I don't know
Yes,
why. That's the word
yes.
that comes to my mind.
And then, of course, he had to deal with that terrible illness, the ALS, and he did that very gracefully, I think.
Absolutely.
It was a very hard thing to deal with.
And what about Uncle Frank Rivers? What do you
Frank
think about him when
Rivers-
you think of him?
Oh, he was always the stalwart, wonderful guy, wonderful, perfect gentleman.
An officer and a gentleman, right?
Yeah, exactly. He knew everything about anything to do with military history, scientific subjects. He could answer so many questions.
Absolutely.
And he could do so many things. So many things. He was very capable of
Yep.
a lot of things.
He
yeah.
seemed like a very intelligent man. to
Oh,
me.
he was. He certainly was.
Yep, absolutely.
He was delightful.
And what about my dad? Let's talk
your
about
dad,
Uncle Gene for a second.
I always had a special place in my heart for your dad. He was very, very good to me, very cordial, hospitable, always smiling, always said good things to people, never heard him criticize anybody. He was a perfect gentleman too.
Well, good.
No, I liked all my brothers-in-law. Yeah,
Good
they
for
were
you.
all good.
So
Well,
how about this? We're going to wrap it up here pretty
Yeah.
quickly. Why don't
Okay.
you, if you're going to say anything to the O'Connell descendants, tell us what you think about it. What is it to be an O'Connell?
Well, I think it's a great privilege. I think we're very lucky to have one another. I hope we will all hang on to our Catholic identity, our faith practices, because we were given a great gift in our faith, and I would hate to see that lost, because that is really our greatest treasure. And we also, I hope we'll always treasure one another, because we're so lucky to have all these relatives.
Absolutely.
We're very, very blessed. Very, very blessed.
Well, thank you so much.
Well-
and we're gonna share this with the
Well-
folks who are here today, as well as the
Oh,
folks
really?
who are
You're
not.
going to show it tonight?
Well, we'll see. Well, I'm
You're
not sure
gonna
about
show
that.
it. Well,
But, you
well
know-
thank you, Nephew Joe. And I just want to say, I think you deserve a great big vote of thanks for putting this party together.
The party is
It's
just
a marvelous. You and Racy too. I'm sure Racy helped a lot.
Oh, she's been working a lot.
Of course.
Working very, and my kids,
and
but everyone else. We
You're
got a
so
lot of help.
hospitable. It's been a beautiful, beautiful party.
Well,
and it's not over yet.
And that's right.
I
We're
think
just
it's
getting
gonna
started.
continue.
So, what's your final message to the folks who are here, and actually the folks who are not here?
Well, I just say God be with you all, and I just hope everybody lives good, wholesome lives, and it's a nasty world today because our Christian brothers and sisters in the Middle East are being persecuted and murdered for their faith, and we have to pray for them and find practical ways to help them too. I think we have to contact our elected officials, including Mr. Trump, and I think he's working on this. We have to do something about helping the persecuted Christians.
That's a great message.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, and
Well,
you are
Joe.
our matriarch, you know.
Well, I don't
And
know
we-
how I deserve that.
You
but-
are, and we all love you very
but-
much.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Thanks for
And
spending
I love
some
all
time.
of you. I love all of you.
And we love you as well.
Okay,
So
Joe.
thanks again, Aunt Sally, and
I love this party. I hope it never ends.
the party always continues, even when you're not here. We're
Okay.
always thinking about you. We love you very much.
Well, thank you,
And thank
Joseph.
you for being such a great matriarch of the family.
Okay, I feel privileged.
All
I
right.
feel very privileged.